Hey, Christian, you know what I like most about you?
What's that, Matt?
Your beard. It's so bushy and thick. You look so manly.
I know. I like your beard, too. We're so tough looking.
It's great. I love having a beard. You know, beard's a great
We're
facial hair.
a
So
couple of Heisenbergs.
So manly.
Yeah.
Facial hair and everything.
Oh, I didn't know you guys shaved. You look so cute with baby faces.
Daphne, you ruined it. You
I'm
blew our
sorry.
cover. We were supposed to be a
Seriously,
secret.
guys, you look so cute.
And welcome back to Digital Leftovers. This is episode 6, and congratulations to myself for not fucking it up in the intro.
We are finally on a roll.
Wow.
No credits.
Yeah, okay, bye. Oh, I opened it too soon. Fuck, no. Matt, open your pop.
You
Open your pop.
cheesed it.
Open your pop. We're good.
The
Okay.
tradition is safe. Maybe.
All right, so welcome to episode 6 of Digital Leftovers. This week, brought to you by...
Actually, we got an actual sponsor this time, Christian.
Yeah, it's Fleshlight. Go fuck yourself.
Yes, Spencers.com is our official sponsor. Actually, Spencers, please sponsor us.
No, seriously, sponsor us.
So,
we will start a video podcast and just litter it with dildos. Like, seriously, hook us up.
Yeah, so I actually have a little story behind this sponsor. I went on a trip to Virginia, and I came across these guys that actually had heard about Digital Leftovers. I was standing outside the White House, taking pictures, and this guy walked up to me and was like, "Hey, you guys do a great podcast. I think, are you willing to, can we sponsor you?" And you want to guess who this guy works for?
Who's that?
Digital Leftovers.
Oh my god, fuck yourself. I was sitting here, legitimately, looking at Matt, wait, you didn't tell me this. Wait, hold on, wait, what the fuck? Motherfucker, go ahead. Go ahead. No, fuck you. You're doing the intro. Fuck you.
Yes.
I'm gonna eat bin. Fuck yourself.
Oh, man, don't. Oh, I guess, yeah, go ahead and eat your bin. It's okay.
I will.
So, we are coming off a very long hiatus.
It's been weird with work, and you were on vacation with your family. And then work got too fucked for both of us, so we couldn't really figure that out. But like we said, this episode of Digital Leftovers is brought to you by our ugly mugs. So if you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, that is 2 bros, 1 mic. The number 2, the word bros. The number 1, the word mic. Matt, your Twitter handle is?
Twitter handle is at EkoGrande. That's EkoGrande. That's also my Instagram, where I post daily memes.
They're dank. And I am at AceAvery1. Follow that shit.
AceAvery1. Baby, I want that AceAvery dick.
All right, Matt. So I know we want to talk about it this week. But before we do...
let's talk about body gases.
Let's talk about bodily functions. Real quick, we have... now, we've had someone on the podcast before, and it's official. Today is the official, there's a chair for a guest. So, officially, the first and the second guest on Digital Leftovers. Please welcome Miss Daphne Smith.
Yeah, I kind of forced my way into this. I put the chair here.
You did.
I was like, no, I'm just going to sit here and hang out and actually listen to them record the podcast. And you're like, oh, no, you're guest starring. Cool.
She just passively aggressively just takes the chair, looks at us with a face
and then we're like,
if I have to listen to this, I'm going to be in it, damn it.
That's exactly how it works. And the dogs are just squaring off. What were you hearing?
I'm hearing it thudding.
Is Dead Mouse here?
Hold on. I can't tell if it's Tuca itching or if it's my neighbor's punching the ceiling.
There is something bumping. I'm sure there's a car out there probably playing Dead Mouse.
Probably. Oh my god. But yeah, no. So Daphne she was in the cold opening, if you couldn't tell, and then she just sat down, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, you're on the podcast. And
I sat down beforehand.
my name's Daphne, and I sat down beforehand. Okay, so Matt, speaking of going to Virginia and going to places and meeting yourself to sponsor the podcast, you have a little story to tell us, don't you?
Oh yes, this trip was one for the books. So. I'm usually, my family's not, the traveling type, but when we do travel, it's, very brief, it's usually 3-4 days where we go down, to a specific state, we see a lot of the sites and, we just take it all in for a few days and then we come home. Flights is usually how we travel. Sometimes we've driven, we take 4 or 5 hour drives to Branson, South Dakota, stuff like that. But usually we fly. And this time we were going to Virginia, so obviously we were going to fly. We were not going to drive fucking 20 hours across the country just to get close to our nation's capital and see Williamsburg. So we decided to fly. And this is the story of how we were meant to be in Virginia by 3 p.m. Thursday and didn't get there till midnight Saturday morning.
For the record, driving straight from Kansas City to Virginia takes 15 hours and 8 minutes.
15 hours and 8 minutes.
It is according to Google.
You guys would have saved time had you just driven.
If we drove straight from KC to Virginia, we
You would have been there on Friday.
We still would have been there Friday. It's fucking insane.
This boggles my mind. According to Google, the 15.8 hour journey is 1,000.1 miles. Like, fuck you. Just round down.
1,000.
Look, I'm not making this shit up. Look at it.
No, I have to be accurate.
Oh my god.
Well, you know, it's kind of symmetrical in a way. It's like symmetry.
Oh, like it's a palindrome. It's 10001.
10001. 10001.
Meanwhile, there's like a computer like somewhere listening to our podcast, like, oh my god, binary. I'm freaking the fuck out. All right, so
Singularity, Skynet
shout
snaps. We are officially in Terminator.
Yeah.
So
on the first video podcast, it's just gonna start with a cold opening of us doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger butt ass naked doing the kneel.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so you guys are familiar with how KCI functions, right?
Yeah.
You've got, your round trip, path around with all the markets and shops and everything, and you go through security, and then you're in that little corral waiting for your plane to arrive, so it's like, you were literally feeling like cows, just sitting in these fucking chairs waiting for your plane to arrive. Yeah, exactly. It felt like it was a pen or something. KCI really has got to work on that. So anyway, we get to KCI at like noon, because our plane leaves at 2, so security, we go and beat that pain in the ass. So we're thinking, hour and a half, we'll wait for the plane to arrive. Christian just brought a candle out. I'm thinking, like, am I part of a cult now? Are we trying to summon Cthulhu? And the first one he goes to is fucking Rent.
I went to Rent. I was like, what's the most culty sounding thing I can do? Theatrical musicals.
Or Gabriel Iglesias, how like you go in and you have like a dove in your crotch and it's like, oh. It's officially part of his stand-up. It's his latest stand-up. It's like, I'm sorry for what I said when I was hungry.
Oh my god,
it came out like winter of last year. Really fucking funny. So anyways, so we got to KCI. Our flight was supposed to leave at 2. Huge ass line at check-in. We're thinking, this won't set us back too much. But as we're standing in line, there's this lady who's walking down and giving us these red cards. Note, this red card that she gave us was our lifeline for the next 48 hours. Because it had a number on it that allows you to call Delta directly, so you're not put on hold for 3 or 4 fucking hours. So it's like, you call this number, you are directly patched in to a Delta person. So she's handing these cards out, and it's like, listen, I'm doing this because there's some rain going down in Atlanta. The storms are really bad, so it's canceling a lot of flights, and our flight's probably going to be delayed a few hours. Oh, how late? Maybe 5, 6 o'clock at night. And it's like, that's not too bad. We'll still get there at 8 o'clock. It's an hour from Richmond to Williamsburg to our final target. So I think that's not too bad.
Doable.
We were way off. Holy shit. We're sitting there past security in this tiny little corral. And we got 2 more announcements about an hour apart from each other of, attention, our flights are going to be delayed another several hours. Our new departure time is 9 o'clock p.m. Our actual departure was like 9:45 at night.
Oh,
like
no.
7 hours past our fucking initial departure. So...
Hey, quick, do your parents listen to this podcast?
Oh, probably.
Oh, never mind
I'm sure behind my back, and it's like it's no big deal.
They're secretly all 30 of our views. It's like it's like Daphne's 15, your parents are the other 15. Like whoa. 5. You're 5 views. Oh.
5 views. What a contribution.
Yeah, cool.
I love you.
That's what I'm here for, guys. That's what I'm here for. I'm actually your ghost sponsor.
Oh, got it.
Woo!
We did it.
Plot twist.
It took 6 episodes.
Okay, so yeah, we plane leaves at like 8 p.m. We get in Atlanta about like 11:30 p.m. Obviously, we were going to miss our connecting flight, which is going to be at like 5 p.m. We had like 3 substitute flights that we were trying to get on, all on standby, so there was still already not a chance we were going to get on them. All got canceled. Turns out, it wasn't just flights to Virginia. It was flights to Memphis, flights to Chicago, to California. oh my god, just flights were dropping left and right. Just to put a broad spectrum of it, over the course of Wednesday to Friday of that week, Delta canceled about 2,000 flights.
Jeez. Oh, I remember hearing about that on the news.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So all those flights got reamed. So
and you happened to be one of them.
We were part of this huge ass collapse in Atlanta. Fucking Delta Airlines, like a lot of flights got canceled just on Thursday, but it was over that course that just under 2,000 flights got canceled. So like one day, like we were trying to get in line for a 2 a.m. flight to Richmond. We were just standing in this line for like a fucking hour trying to get on, and funny story adding to this that we were waiting to get to the agent that was going to help us, and we're standing in line, and there's a wall of phones off to our right, like the classic phone booth type phones that you just pick up and you hear a dial tone, you put a quarter in, and then you can go through.
Hello,
we saw
operator?
exactly. We saw one old lady picked up one of these phones and held it to her ear. That's gonna sound great.
It's gonna sound great on the microphone.
And she pees on your shorts.
I swear to God.
So this wall of phones, as we're waiting in line, we watch these phones, and we see some people walk up to them. They pick up the phone, and then it feels like they change their minds because they hang the phone up and then they walk away. This one very old lady, had to be in like her early 80s, late 70s, very senile looking. She picks up one of the phones and she holds it to her ear. For 30 minutes, I watched her just stand there. Her lips never moved. She made no reaction. She just stood there, staring at the ground, phone to her ear, and just blanking out.
So two thoughts come to my head. One, this old lady is like old person goals for me. Like just like go to like a phone booth, stand there, and have nobody question it, right? Except for 2 idiots on a podcast. 3 idiots on a podcast. Well, 2 idiots end up really pretty late on a podcast. I have to live with her, so like I don't want to. She'll kick my ass. Secondly, she's probably sitting there just like she's like someone's actually talking to her, but she's like, everyone thinks I'm crazy. No one will believe me. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe she is actually intelligent and thinking like, no one's answering this phone. Maybe if I just stand here, people will think that I'm talking to someone. But I saw the bigger picture. I saw that her lips were not fucking moving at all. So here's the thing. She had the one phone. She reached over and she grabbed another phone and held it to her other ear. So now here she is for like another 10 more minutes. She has phones in both hands, holding them against her ears. No fucking joke.
I got 2 phones. One for the club and one for the host. Sorry.
I got 2 phones for you. It's yeah, exactly. That's literally what it was. Now, yeah. So you picture that. Phones in both hands, in both ears. Her stroller is standing right in front of her, and she's not using it. She had a stroller that she puts.
Oh, like a walker.
One of the 4-legged walker things. Yeah, she's holding her phones, and she's slouched over like a hunchback, and her stroller's right in front of her. She's not using it, so it's like...
Huh? What'd you say, dearie? Huh?
Are you from the war?
Do you fuck with the war?
Do you fuck with the war? Is your phone number still 7? So yeah, like 10, 15 minutes more of her just standing there, and then she hangs up both phones. No, she never talked into them once. Like never fucking once she talked in either of these.
Operator, get me a direct line to DC. Ma'am, this is Domino's Pizza. Please stop calling.
I'll take a hamburger, please.
With extra sausage. What are you eating?
Just
Oh my.
Walker's eating something, and I can't.
I don't know.
I hear his gums. He's like chewing. It just looks so.
Alright, go on. I don't want to look at you. Go on.
And
You're
so
eating something
disturbing.
off my
Go lay
plate.
down.
So anyway, the flight that we were in line for while this whole old lady fiasco happened, we were like second to the front, and then that flight got canceled.
Of course.
So we stood in that line for a fucking hour for nothing. My dad and I, we were curious about this old lady because we were both observing her. We went over to the phones, no dial tone.
So hold on. Wait a minute. This old broad fucking sat there with not just one phone, but 2 phones. And they weren't even on? Fuck
no dial tone.
Me.
Now, I did see there was a sign up there saying, please enter 25 cents and you'll be connected. So maybe if you put a quarter in, but still, it was very alarming to see her, sit there in pure silence into both ears. And It's just one thing after another.
These are these new beats these kids are talking about, right?
It was like the fucking simulation in Rick and Morty of the aliens, taking away CPU power, so she's just kind of stuck there.
Yeah. Human music. I like it.
Yeah. So we went back to our seats. We had this little campsite at Atlanta. It was like, okay, so we make sure no one takes these seats. Because we also had a little girl with us. We wanted her to be comfortable. But she was the one that we were trying to get back to Virginia. She was like our payload. So yeah, it was going on like 2 a.m. No chance of any flights coming up. And we just had zero chance of leaving the airport because we had no flights. Really fucking defeated. Before we were going to bunker down, a captain, I repeat, the dude who flies the plane.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. Got on the intercom at one of the stations where the agent is to help you get on a flight, and said the following. Guys, listen, I can't put into words how surprised I am that all these flights are getting canceled. That is my plane out there, fueled and ready to go, and we just kind of perked up like, huh?
Oh,
Is
it's
it time to
ready.
go?
Is he gonna,
Are we going, Dad? Are we going?
Is he gonna break the protocol? And it's like, and I just found out all my crew were timed out for the night. He had no crew since like 6 p.m. His plane was out there, ready to go, and he had no flight attendants. He had no people to get the final checklist before the plane takes off. He had nobody, no crew. And he was ready to go since 6 p.m. We're talking like 6 p.m. going in like 2 a.m.
Oh,
and he's
God.
waiting for his plane to take off. And he had nobody. Nobody showed up.
How did that fall through?
I know. That's the thing. That's what made us start wondering, like, how the fuck did this come to pass? So yeah, and the clerk that this captain borrowed the intercom from, that agent didn't even know the flights that she was managing at that desk were canceled like 3 hours ago.
Bitch.
She was still trying to get people connected, and these flights were canceled the whole fucking time.
Somehow, like, this is a really shitty story. I know there's more, but somehow...
Update your systems!
At least if you were on United, you at least would have probably gotten there.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it was all pure...
You would have gotten there with a black eye.
Yeah.
You would have gotten there.
Exactly. It was so...
That joke is topical.
Exactly. It was fucking insane. Because, yeah, we heard about that story the night before we left from D.C., the day before our trip was over.
Maybe if they all played Flight Manager, they'd have all of their shit together.
Plot twist. Delta is actually run by the game Flight Manager.
And
Baby!
Steven, our friend who plays the game, is fucking it all up.
Oh my god, if Steven
It's
was
all Steven's
responsible
fault.
for
No,
all...
it's Doug's fault.
It's Doug's fault. It's fucking Doug.
Fuck you, Doug.
Doug, we love
Shout out
you.
to Doug.
Shout out to
Sponsor
Doug
us.
again. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us.
Jack Stack, sponsor us.
Catering.
Nintendo, give me free shit.
Nintendo, give me free stuff. So anyway, the captain was still there lounging around. It was like 10 minutes after he gave his announcement. He got back on the intercom and said, is there anyone here who can speak German? Because they were trying to talk to headquarters, which is in Germany.
Is it really?
And the I think so. There were so many. I felt like I was in the fucking Twilight Zone. Like, this is what I feel like Purgatory or Limbo is
That's what an
like.
airport is. It's the Twilight Zone.
Sitting in a terminal,
Matt,
waiting for the plane to take off.
You actually died and were chilling in purgatory that whole time.
That's what I was thinking. Holy shit, I could write a fanfic or something out of that. And I'm thinking, holy fuck.
Stephen King's
But-
Ghost Rider, Matthew.
Yeah, fucking. So we hear that, and it's like that was the weirdest shit to hear at like 3 a.m. Is this captain? One of the guys who flies the fucking plane is like, any guys here speak German? We need a translator. And it's like, you guys don't have an official translator on call? You're talking to your goddamn headquarters.
Yeah, or they don't have an English translator there.
Exactly.
It's so weird.
It was so insane. So we just totally lost our shit. It was all jokey. We're like, oh, we in for a night. So chairs were all armed. Glock 22s, just kidding. But literally, they all had arms. So there was no way that we could stretch out. So it was either on the floor or sitting in one thing, like your ass got stuck in a toilet, and then have your legs dangling over the arms.
Yep.
Which
is not comfortable because your legs start to fall asleep.
Oh, hell yeah.
My ass constantly gets stuck in toilets, for the record.
We didn't even have to sit in those arms. We felt like our blood supply... we felt like our blood supply to our brain was getting completely cut off from the moment we stepped into KCI. It was funny that I slept on my backpack, which is like my pillow. My laptop was literally my pillow. And,
We've all been there.
Hoodie was my blanket. I had holy jeans. My jeans were all holy and shit because I was thinking, this will be a quick flight. I don't have to look too shabby. So yeah, I had jeans that were holes. Fucking, by the time I went to sleep in that flight, it was like almost 12 hours, over 12 hours later. The holes in my jeans were like 6 times bigger than when I first walked into KCI.
Your jeans relaxed, and they were like.
Yeah, I was expecting a quick, easy, and painless flight. By the time I went to sleep,
Never.
the fucking holes in my jeans were 5 times bigger.
This is why I don't fly.
Your jeans were just as stressed as you were.
Exactly. It was like a meter of like, oh, Matt's getting pretty upset. The hole's getting to be 2 or 3 times.
Hulk smash.
We're up to the 3 G's, and it's like fucking.
And then you took off and just off with your pants.
So we woke up like 7 a.m., got like 4 hours of sleep. Parents didn't sleep at all. They stayed up all night trying to get us on some sort of flight or a hotel or anything. Because here's the thing, we weren't the only ones. We're talking like over 1,000 people trying to get on flights, and everyone was stranded at this airport. So hotels within all 50-mile range, all around, booked. No cars, no rental cars. Because thinking, fuck it, let's just drive there. Which we ended up doing. Next day, it was like, we're trying to talk to a rental car place, and all of them had the audacity to say, we'll give you a car, but it has to be round trip.
Bitch.
So we're talking 9 hours from Atlanta to Virginia, and then we'd have to drive 9 hours back just to drop off the car.
Nope.
And then we'd have to go through Atlanta airport again just to fly back to KC.
Nope.
So...
You were like...
Yeah, we were literally just popping middle fingers everywhere. We were losing our shit. So anyway, we finally landed a rental car that was able to go one way. We're thinking, oh yeah, it hurts. We'll pick it up here, and then we'll drive it there, and we'll drop it off. Fucking Hertz up there in Richmond. So I swear, the fucking snacks and the weight I was putting on while this whole shit was going through was insane. I had Cheetos and fucking fruit snacks and everything. I don't think I got any nutrition.
You were a stoner's paradise.
Pretty much. It was like 24 hours and I did not have any like wholesome meal.
It said real fruit snacks, Sour Patch Kids.
So, but anyway, yeah, we get to Williamsburg. Things were doing okay. We were able to check into our hotel, but we still didn't have our luggage. Turns out,
did your luggage get put on a plane or something?
Yeah, we checked it in at KCI.
So wait, hold on. So your luggage went further than you did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The luggage probably got to Richmond.
The luggage got to fly, but you guys didn't.
Oh gosh, yeah. The luggage got to have the time of their lives just traveling there, and then they just sat there. Which is funny because the night that we finally got to Williamsburg, my parents drove up to Richmond to pick up the bags that we knew were there. It was a fucking graveyard. Luggage everywhere. From all the cancellations, all this luggage just sitting there.
Insert the elephant graveyard theme from Lion King.
Oh, hell yeah. It was like that. It's like... Dad, what is that over there? That's baggage claim, son. You must never go there.
Everything the light touches will be yours. What's that over there? Wait, fuck. Who did you fly? Who'd you fly with?
Delta.
What's that shadow we put over there? That is Delta, son. You must never fly there.
You must never fly
Oh my
there. So it turns out we did have one bag that was in Williamsburg, and we had a guy drive from the Richmond airport to drop it off. And we had the clerk at the hotel call up the delivery service to talk to the guy who delivered the bag. I think his name was like David. His name was David. Our desk clerk was Tony. Tony was the coolest fucking guy because he got on the phone with David like, "Hi, I have some hotel guests here. I'm looking for their luggage." And David just fucking went off on this guy.
Wait, so David was the guy he called, Tony was the clerk?
Tony was the hotel clerk, and he was willing to help us by calling the delivery service, and David was the delivery guy who dropped off the one baggage that was able to make it to Williamsburg.
All right, now whose bag was it?
We don't know. Because it turns out David dropped it off at the wrong fucking hotel.
David.
The hotel that we were in...
David, you bitch.
There were 3 hotels within like half a mile of ours. And it turns out he dropped it off at one that was like 2 miles away. So I was like, fuck it. I walked to the other hotels, and the last one that I went into... Picture this. I'm walking in like I fucking own the place. I am so done with this shit. The desk clerk at that hotel, not the one we were staying in, saw me. He was watching me, And as he locks his eyes with me, he's still looking at me. He leans back. He picks up the luggage, and he's
knew.
Like, were you looking for this? Because like
you could tell just by the look on your face. Like this man is done. He is here for his shit.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it to him and get him the fuck out of here.
Hey, stop barking. The other two hotels you went to previously were like, dude, he's coming.
Oh yeah.
I will find you,
and
I will take you to my hotel.
They all knew the situation I was going through because they walk in and it's like, I'm assuming you're not a guest here. Are you from the other one? And I'm like, yes, I'm looking for luggage. And it's like, sorry, baby, I don't know which one it is. One of them was this very sweet black lady. Oh my gosh, she was so nice. She was like, yeah, honey, I haven't seen it. You know, I was talking to Tony and he was telling me about the delivery guy, David, charming fellow.
But he's an asshole.
And I was like, yeah, he was fucking threatening to come down here and, like, you know, get into fisticuffs with Tony or something. And she just looks at me, she puts her hands on the table, and let him come. Let him come.
Where were you at this point?
I was at one of the hotel across the street from ours. That was the first spot that I was checking.
What state?
Virginia.
So you were in Virginia at this point?
Yes. Yeah, so...
Sassy black lady throwing down with David.
Oh, yes, it was fucking insane. So... a little bit of cat and mouse, and then I found the luggage, and just it was.
So for those of you listening at home, we have a Google Doc that like we don't script out our podcast. That would be dumb, but we have like a guideline, right? And I'm sitting here with the Google Doc up on my screen, looking at the thing we're going to talk about after your story is done, and I'm just seeing your cursor go like beep 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 beep. I'm like, oh, there's Matt. There he is. Hi, friend. There he goes. There he goes. He's gone. Bye, Matt. Bye, Matt.
Hello, audience. How are you guys doing?
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Hope you find your fly. So, I honestly have no way to conclude that, but it was just a fucking... I know I could have gone into so much more detail.
But it was a fuck fest.
So how was your vacation?
How was your vacation other than that?
Otherwise, it was great. I went on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
I went to D.C. I saw where the buck stops. Mm-hmm. And I actually...
Is it here?
Huh?
Is it here?
It's over there. It's over there where that big I think it's a house that's white. I don't know what you call it.
There's a big fence around it.
I think so. Yeah. Snipers. Fucking, we saw snipers.
Did you really?
It was so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, we went on like a double-decker bus that was like driving around all the places. Saw like the Lincoln Memorial, and the pool, the reflection pool.
Yeah.
I am convinced.
The one from like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh yeah. Fucking like we stood where Forrest Gump stood, where Martin Luther King stood. Mm-hmm. It's really fucking cool.
We stood where Martin Luther King stood, but more importantly, we stood where Forrest Gump stood.
Now, you've seen that reflection pool in those pictures for Martin Luther King and Forrest Gump, and it looks kind of big in those pictures.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge.
Is it?
It's like 1.5 miles long.
Really?
It took us like 15 minutes to walk from one end to the other. Because, like, you have the Lincoln Memorial at one end, then you have the World War II Memorial at the other. Mm-hmm. Then there's the Washington Monument, so it's all, like, adjacent. Then there's the Capitol. Oh, yeah, the monument is like it's like,
It's a phallus.
Washington is compensating for something.
I think back in that day, it's like, I just have this image of, like, everyone that was alive in that time. They didn't live very long, so they just had huge dicks. So, like, that's not an overcompensation. That's just, like self-portrait. Like...
and that's conversation between the guys, and Daphne's just like, oh.
This episode of Digital Leftovers is brought to you by Dick Jokes.
By
Dick
lots.
Jokes, go fuck yourself.
Dick Jokes, go fuck yourself. Oh boy, let's get ready to rumble.
So we have two dogs here that are, one is young and trying to figure out where she stands. She picks fights, and then when the other one retaliates, gets upset at him. She just wants to kick his ass, and he's like, no.
She is the epitome of a little sister.
She's a little shit.
Very
I love you. You're cute. Stop being a bitch.
First rule of Fight Club, guys.
Don't talk about
Bark, bark, woof, bark, woof.
Exactly. Rule number 2. Bark, 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 wolf.
Hey,
bark.
you don't
He's
start
like,
barking
I want to
either.
play too, guys.
The third dog wants to bark too. Okay, so Matthew, quick question for you, because I feel like we're segueing. Are we segueing?
A little bit. One observation I want to make real quick. The reflection pool, it's fucking huge. It's a mile and a half long. You've seen the Warcraft movie, right?
Of course.
You know the portal that they go into, how fucking tall it is?
Yeah.
I am convinced. I'm convinced that the reflection pool, the government is hiding a portal.
Like Gul'dan is somewhere in the back, like, yes.
I'm thinking Cthulhu. That somewhere at the bottom of that pool, Cthulhu is dormant. And when the time comes,
That's where he's been hiding.
all Trump has to do is just push a button, and he's like...
Summon from Riley.
He rises from the pool and just looks around at the Capitol, and then the rest of the nation, like, show me what you got.
Oh my god.
I had to make the reference. I apologize.
So, next up on the segment is what we are currently playing. Now,
Yes, let's talk about video games.
You just, now, have you played State of Decay before, or is this a new one for you?
This is a new one. This is actually something I bought while I was on my trip. Because it was like, I was on hotel Wi-Fi. There was no way I was going to get any Overwatch or League of Legends games in. So I'm like, I need something single player. I found this game, State of Decay. It was on sale on Steam. And I was like, I've seen this before. And I was curious about what it was. And so I was like, fuck it. $10. Put it down.
Easy.
And within the first hour or so, I got hooked. It's so simple, but it's very addictive.
Oh, explain the premise.
So it's a zombie game. You remember we were talking about 7 Days to Die, before, right? Imagine 7 Days to Die, but single player and with NPCs instead of real people. There's kind of an XCOM-y vibe to it. That
like an RTS type of...
No. It's not like the gameplay of XCOM. It's the characters of XCOM. You know how in XCOM Enemy Unknown, you have your squad, and anytime you take them out on a mission, if any of them die during a mission, they are dead.
Yeah.
So that's the way State of Decay does it with survivors. That you can play as literally any of Survivor. Like, you start out with a couple, but then as you start gathering them, you can talk to them, have conversations, take them out on missions, gain their trust. Once you gain enough trust, you can play as them.
Oh. Fuck. That's kind of cool.
So, literally anyone that you come across, if you are able to build a relationship with them, kind of like loyalty missions in Mass Effect or something.
Right.
You have to get them to a specific standpoint that you'll be able to switch with them. So like at any one time, say the character you're playing as gets wounded or tired, switch to another person, and then they can go out
this guy
exactly.
for a little bit.
Yeah. So there isn't much left to it. But that being said, for $10, it's a pretty good deal.
Okay, have you gotten your $10 out of it yet?
Oh, yes. Because here's the thing. I got what's called the State of Decay Yos Edition. It's like year one standard. It's year one edition, something like that.
An acronym.
Yeah, it comes with the DLC that's come out. So you have regular State of Decay, which is it's an open world Witcher Skyrim type open world with you choose what missions you want to go on, Grand Theft Auto style, that you pick a mission, you go to it, you do that mission, you come back, and then you reap the rewards. There's a story to it, kind of, sort of. It's very minimal, but it's still there.
Year 1 Survival Edition.
Year 1 Survival Edition. And that comes with the standard, which is what I just described. And then there's also a DLC called Breakage, something like that, which is kind of like the standard game, but there's no story. You're thrown into the midst of it, you go out, you collect shit. There's obviously dialogue, but it's all... It's kind of roguey in the sense that you just start the game and go.
I love roguelikes.
As long as you can, get as many survivors as you can, and it's kind of like XCOM is if you miss a mission or you fuck something up, too many infestations around your home base, you could get boned. There's also a third DLC, I forget the name of it, but you play as the military. It's kind of a prequel DLC that it has the same premise as the other, that you go out, you scavenge and everything, but you're playing as the military, where kind of like the Space Marines and aliens, you are amongst the other survivors, as in category fucked, subcategory sue. Best way I like to put it. So it's essentially the same, but you're playing the military. You're trying to get everybody out, but then your unit gets fucked up, and then you have to be with the other survivors, and you're just trying to stay alive. So the main mechanics and everything are throughout all of them, that you can go to, a specific city where there's buildings. You go inside those buildings, kind of like 7 Days to Die. That some bigger stuff takes longer to loot, smaller stuff takes a little shorter to open. There's an option that you can speed up your looting, but there's a chance that you can make a noise while you're looting. So like you'll see the dial, if you hit like the sprint button, it'll speed up the dial to access whatever's in that container.
That's gonna sound great on the podcast. Oh,
woo! Noises.
I punched the fucking table.
you have a chance to speed up your looting, but there's also a chance that you'll make a noise while you're looting. And if you make a noise, if there's any Zambos around you, they will come running. So there's straggler zombies, there's zombie hordes. The hordes are probably my favorite because like when I say horde, I mean fucking horde.
When Matt says whore, he means whore. Sorry.
Fuck you. But yeah, it's like we're talking like a cluster of like 50 zombies just walking down the street, and if you get even a single one of their attention, all 50 of them come running. Daphne's over there making noises.
What'd you say?
I said, do-a-diddy-diddy-dum diddy-do.
50 zombies just walking down the street saying, Brains.
It's like that possessed singing fish thing that's in the games playlist.
Oh, God.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like it gets possessed every time it turns its head.
Yeah.
Lose my shit every time.
I remember that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so it's single player, so there's no online. There is a second one that's coming out, and one more comment I want to make about the first one, that the map for this game is fucking huge.
Yeah.
We're talking like maybe not Witcher sized or Horizon Zero Dawn sized, but it's still pretty big. Mm-hmm. Like, I am almost tempted to drive across because like Horizon's map, they tested it that if you go from one end to the other, it takes 20 minutes on foot to get from one end to the other, which is pretty big. This one is just as big. Now,
20 real-time minutes, like in-game minutes?
Real-time minutes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just make sure.
Yeah, speaking of real-time, actually, that's another thing, is time in this game is persistent. Like Animal Crossing.
So, like, when you put it down, it still goes.
It doesn't play
on real time.
When you turn it off, it doesn't like keep playing in the background or anything, but when you turn it on, it calculates how many real-time minutes it has been since your last playthrough, and it calculates that into in-game minutes. So say you get wounded and you go back to base, you shut off the game, you come back the next day, that character could be well rested, or he's no longer tired or fatigued, and you can take him back out again. So there's a little bit of persistent time with it. And that's also a challenge, because say you're playing the game and then you close it out. Say you have a couple infestations, because like one of the quests is that there might be a house close to your home base that has an infestation in it, which means there could be a lot of zombies there, or a few zombies, and then some special zombies, like there's bloaters, there's ferals, there's screechers, stuff like that. If you close the game and you leave those infestations so close to home, next time you log in, your base could be fucked up.
That's awesome.
So like someone that could be alive when you log off and you log back on,
could very well be
that
dead.
person could very well be dead.
That's kind of cool.
So that is what has kept me coming back to it, is that sort of persistent development that it's like the game is kind of playing on its own when you're not playing it. Obviously not in real time,
right?
Because sometimes you'll play at nighttime. And it'll be daytime, so it's not like actual real time.
It's not like it's not keeping track of.
Yeah,
like,
no, not like Animal Crossing, where it's like it takes the time from your DS.
It's not like Pokemon fucking Crystal, where it's like, what time of day is it where you're at right now? And you're like, it's 7 a.m. Great, it's gonna be night in 12 hours. Like, great, thanks. But it's gonna actually be night in game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not that persistent, but it does leave room for some replayability, and that's honestly like with the standard. I've just played the standard. I haven't played the DLC yet, but that being said, the base price is $30.
But you got it for 10.
Yeah, so it's like It's like $10 per game, because all of them they all have the same mechanics, but they all have a different theme to it. That you have the standard, which is the open world decision making. There's a story to it. There's the open world decision making without a story, and then there's the one where it's a prequel and you're playing as the military. So I would say at base price, it's definitely a must have. Because like I was looking at reviews, and a lot of people are saying this game, granted it's not one of the best on Steam, there are some glitches to it, and it does seem kind of ham hockey or kind of cheap looking at times, that it's still a game that a lot of Steam players should have in their library. So it's like if you want to pass the time, it's still pretty good. Plus, they announced the sequel, which is coming out later this year. And not only are they promising free DLC, that the DLC will be free, but they're promising that imagine the map from the first one, but it's going to be 3 identical maps. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 3 separate maps for the main game. And I don't know what that means essentially, but as far as I can tell, that basically means that you're going to have 3 separate maps that you're going to be doing missions on. And they're all going to be the same size as the map from the first game. So that could mean a lot more content for the same price, because I believe they are still setting it at $30.
It's not bad.
That would mean that the DLC could essentially be free. That being said, it's granted I'm still putting a lot of time into League of Legends and Overwatch, some other random Steam games, but I can safely say that I have put just as much time into State of Decay, because it does have that micromanagement where you're going out, you're collecting stuff. There's role-playing elements where each character that you play as, you can grow their skills. And then also upgrade your base, based on how many supplies you collect. And it's a really fun pastimer. So.
And you were stuck on a 27,000 hour fiasco, so there you go.
Yes. It was like, fuck it, I need something to pass the time, so I was able to get that, and it really passed the time in the car drive.
So another game on our what we're playing list, because I know how we labeled it is what is C: playing, what is M: playing. And this game, hopefully on the next podcast, because I think on my next day off, I'm dedicating my day off to finishing Life is Strange. Because I finally finished Chapter 4, and we're just getting, since all of us, well, 2/3 of the people in this room know the ending, I am the 33% that does not know the ending. I'm just going to say the ending of Chapter 4 real quick and be like, and make hand motions, and then our audience can be left in awe because they have no idea what I'm doing. But
oh, yes.
I
know.
I know. So when I do eventually finish, we're going to have a spoiler cast where like the entire podcast is going to be of the State of Decay. It's going to be Life is Strange. It's so good. I was thinking about it. I was talking to people about it. I'm like, it's got really good storytelling, and that's where it thrives. It's like, look, your actions actually have consequences, and the decisions you make actually matter to the outcome of the game.
It has what every good game has, which it throws you into the game and makes you feel like you're living it yourself.
Right.
You become attached to every character that you interact with.
Yeah.
In some way or another. You form bonds with these other characters and with the character that you're playing as.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what every good storytelling game should have.
It's almost what like Sony exclusives were going for, and granted sometimes it doesn't work out, but it's what Last of Us is doing. It puts you in the eyes of Joel. Mm-hmm. I started playing Uncharted. I'm like halfway through the first Uncharted game, and I can see how they're doing that with Nathan Drake, that they put you in the mind of Nathan Drake as he goes through this. Granted, it's a third-person shooter at times. There are some cinematics to it, but Life is Strange is able to do that with like a third of the budget. And that being said,
without a big AAA company behind it.
Oh my god. Granted, some of the motifs and the themes, it is a sci-fi game. There is stuff that's just pure fiction that...
It's like, listen, like in a game like that though, 10 minutes in maybe is when you gain the ability to use the main mechanic of the time travel of the game.
Yeah.
So once that kicks in, and like we've stated every time we've talked about it, the first chapter is free. You don't even have to pay to get to that point in the experience. It's like, if that's not your cup of tea, if you were like looking for some type of slice of life type of thing without any sci-fi, then Life is Strange might not be for you. But like 10 minutes in, you get the thing, you realize very obviously this is a sci-fi-esque game. If you're cool with that, keep going.
You can't, because some people could disagree that the game doesn't take off even when you get that mechanic, because it's still kind of slow. But it's like, no, you're a high school graduate going into college, and that's what it's supposed to be about.
That shit's boring regardless. Yeah, if there's some time travel, it makes it interesting. But if you played a game, right? Imagine Life is Strange. Bless you. I want both of you to imagine Life is Strange, but without any time travel. I imagine it still could have been a very interesting game.
It'd be a social game.
But people would have been like, "Oh, it's boring. It doesn't take off." Well, bitch, you're playing someone going to.
You're playing someone else's life.
You're playing someone's life in
college that just came back home to go to college. What the fuck do you expect?
Now imagine if her life was weird.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. That is legitimately the part of that game that just like bends me over and fucks me every time. I don't know how many times that someone has been like, man, life is odd. It's like, fuck you!
You can
That game, those writers wrote to counter CinemaSins.
Oh yeah, they're
Life
totally
is strange.
with that.
Roll credits. Fuck you too.
Yeah,
I have to pee. Keep going.
they're not even saying that. Oh my god. So Daphne,
Yes.
I want to bring you in on this. That
Okay. I will sit forward now.
this is
Engage.
this is such an interesting title that I didn't know what to expect. And now I've already expressed a lot of my thoughts on Life is Strange, and I consider it a masterpiece. Holy cow! It's such
so
a great
good.
story. The mechanics are
Beautiful.
fun. It's
I want to listen to the soundtrack all the time.
Oh my
the
god.
music is great.
Everything is just perfect.
The indie stuff is awesome.
There's nothing I can think of that made me disappointed with the game, be it gameplay or music or how they engage you. There's just nothing that I can think of that's bad.
Did it ever seem like you were bored when you were playing it?
Never.
Because it's like you're.
There's some moments where you're like, how do I solve this puzzle? And that may be
Oh,
boring,
yeah.
or like, at the end of episode 4, puzzle solving, and you're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then it clicks, and you're like, oh. But I mean,
And how
it's
great is
engaging.
it that our two main characters, it feels like that would be you in that situation. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the puzzles, after you solve it, Max will have those internal thoughts that it's like,
oh, duh, of course.
I know, and it's
Yeah.
like you feel like Max in that moment.
Yeah. Or she can't figure it out, and she's like, oh, well, that doesn't go together, Sherlock. And it's like, that's exactly what I would think to myself.
Okay, now, Daphne, you know who Max is.
Yes.
You know who Chloe is. Now,
I mean,
you've seen all of it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so,
yeah.
who do you relate most to?
God.
Are we still in Life is Strange?
See, and that's
Yes,
the most beautiful thing of the game, is I relate to both characters.
Yeah. They're,
It's like
they're
you-
almost
you
polar
have, like,
opposites, and they...
The nerdy geek Max, and then you have the punk rock stellar hot bitch Chloe,
Yeah.
right?
Daphne,
With the
you're both
blue
those.
hair, the just total punk rocker thrasher girl
Daphne,
that
you're
I've
both
always
those.
aspired to be.
Daphne, you're both of those.
But I just on
Hey,
a
Daphne, you're
personality
both of those.
sake, I see myself as both of them. And then sometimes I see myself as one more than the other.
And
Like,
she
I
really,
have a fiery temper like Chloe, but I'm also a pacifist like Max.
she really sees herself as Max when she travels through time. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I'm also
When-
a time traveler. I don't know if you knew that, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you knew that, but
rewind time.
oh my god.
That explains the whole...
Fuck you.
This is why I'm never wrong.
This is why you're never wrong.
I'm always right 87% of
I'll
the time.
fight you. I would like to see like our side by side comparisons of like, what did you choose in the argument? What did you choose when they asked you what do you want for dinner? And it was like 66% of your friends said pizza. Well, fuck you guys. 100% of us chose pizza. Yes.
What would your mother think? What would your father think? What would your brother
Man,
think?
am I really glad my parents don't listen to this podcast? I know you were making a reference back to the, but damn. Anyway, well, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. Okay, back to that moment real quick. You were like, don't choose the mom. And I was like, cool. I found the evidence.
That was
said,
obvious.
That said, don't choose the mom. And then it was all the other options. That was the moment I realized. Because in the first chapter, I didn't explore enough. And that was like, okay, I need to do
Yes.
more exploration. The more I
it
play.
rewards you for diving
does,
deep
it does.
and finding people or finding things or interacting with them.
And that's so great because it's like, look, the world is not. It really made the game not feel linear, not on a railroad track.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, look, there are other things that don't actually matter to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, now I don't know if there is some type of payoff later or if she's just super nice and relatable to you, but the chick that you save in like the first chapter from getting hit in the head with a football.
Oh yeah, there's a moment in
Alyssa?
every single episode.
It's
of
Alyssa.
that.
I missed one, and I
Alyssa.
realized I missed it when I interacted with her later. It was raining. It was right before the big event, right? For
Wow, great time noises. Great time
Thank you,
noises.
thank you, thank you. I realized I missed a moment with her, because I walked up to her during class and she was like, I don't want to talk right now, Max. And I was like, fuck, I missed a moment to save her. Shit. And I had no idea. But then like later at the pool party, it was like, move. And then she was like my best friend. It was great. I'm like, this is a great flushed out character moment, right?
And it's like because you forgot to miss a moment that might have put a hiccup in it, but you were able to balance it out sort of by saving her later on.
You were able to get the same positive end goal with her.
Now, you don't know this, but you know the final moment when you save Alyssa.
It's so heartwarming too.
Right?
It's so heartwarming.
Because
fuck you guys, I'm gonna go play. Hold on.
I'll see you in about 4 hours.
So I guess we'll have to keep talking for 4 hours till she finishes.
I gotta go to work tomorrow. Never mind. I don't have 4 hours. I have 2 hours to do a podcast though. Hey. Oh my god, I'm so, okay. I know you mentioned like we were on a hiatus because of all the shit, but man, am I really fucking glad we're recording again. Oh my god, it feels so good to be back into it.
It feels like the gears are kind of have cobwebs on
them.
As they're
Definitely.
turning, it's getting the dust off.
Yeah, we're like getting back into the our flow.
Not to mention I'm congested as fuck, so it's like I'm literally trying to dust the cobwebs off.
You are literally
like every time I'm talking, like my mucus is like, no, stop talking, and it's like I want to keep going.
So
finish Life is Strange, Christian.
Please. We're finishing it so we can do the spoiler cast hopefully next week. He said 4 weeks ago.
It'll come, guys. It'll come. Don't worry.
It will. We are going to have that episode.
Just for the record, I don't know if you're listening for the first time or if you didn't hear it before. Life is Strange. The first episode is free.
Hey Matt, did you hear that on Steam the first episode of Life is Strange is free?
Hey Christian, you see this Coke and how it's going to be poured on your head?
Hey Daphne, are you aware that for $0 and 0 cents and 0 cents
you can
on
get a
the
game that rhymes with Life is Strange
in the gaming platform Steam, you can get a game that rhymes with Life is Strange on Steam.
Life is Odd?
Fuck you.
I can get Life is Odd for free?
Fuck you.
You can get a life for free.
You got one whole.
Woo!
I
need one of those.
Fuck you, Jack Stack. I am doing a complete do-over.
No, seriously, Jack Stack, don't fire me.
Or me, please. I
need the money.
First episode is free. Check that shit out.
Jack Stack, give me free shit.
Yeah, Jack Stack, give me shit.
Jack Stack, give me free stuff.
Okay, so real quick, I want to talk about something our whole group is doing together right now.
And that is way fucking behind.
And that is mobile gaming. God. And it's not. It's worse than.
You started this, Matthew.
This is your fault. And then it's just expanded. Now it's worse than mobile gaming.
We've all gone zombie nutso crazy in our screens over this one game.
Now it's worse than mobile gaming. It's not. It's not a game you can download on the App Store. No. This is a Facebook Messenger mobile game.
Facebook Messenger mobile game.
No microtransactions.
Yes,
I'm going to promote the shit out of this game. Facebook sponsor us.
To provide a little
give me free shit.
To provide a little backstory, a couple weeks ago, I got a notification from our Facebook message group that Eric started playing this game called Endless Lake, and that was the one that set off the whole thing. Now, I was like, okay, fine, I'll try to beat people's scores, there's a little competition here. And then I just kept getting the notifications of like, Christian set a new high, Daphne beat a high score, Steven got the lowest score, or whatever. And it's
Steven, you suck dick.
One night, I was sitting in my car before I walked into work, and I'm like, oh, I'll show them. So, literally, I opened the game list.
I just got this image of you sitting in your car before work, saying, I'll show them with your hat on, and just like Ash Ketchum style, just like putting it backwards, just like,
I'll show them.
So
I opened the games list for Facebook Messenger games, and I just literally started playing them down the line.
Yeah, that fucked me up.
And
I started Snake.
We tried every single one of them.
Matt had to get a taste of everything. He was like a kid in a fucking Baskin Robbins. Give me a sample of this. Give me a spoonful of this.
He was like me at the soda fountain, getting a fucking suicide just cut down the line. I want a taste of all of this.
Matt is the kid that tries every exotic flavor and is like, never mind, give me vanilla. Like, fuck you.
I'm the guy in Ant-Man who walks up to Paul Rudd and is like, just give me whatever's hot and fresh. Paul Rudd, dude, that's me.
That is you. You are Paul Rudd. Congratulations.
So, one of the games that I played, because literally what I was trying to do was just spam them with all these scores of all these various games. And then the next thing I know, as I'm going into work, by the time I got from my car to my desk, I got maybe like 10 notifications of you guys setting your scores on all the games that I started playing.
Just to let you know, the whole point of me playing all of these was just to beat the score you'd initially set. That was my whole goal for that. You set up like 10 games and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go beat Matt's score in every single one of these.
Matt set the high scores. We all beat it. And that's about the time Matt's phone went through the wall. Like,
Everyone in Fox Sports.
I'm done!
What floor do you work on?
I'm on the top floor.
Yeah, it went out the window.
It was out the window, strikes the TV antenna, knocks the antenna down, crushes all of downtown.
Oh, the humanity!
Millions
Which is why
are
you
dead.
Missed your Monday traffic report.
And also caused your Monday traffic report.
So one of the games that I started, it was maybe like in the middle of it, that was... Everwing.
Fucking
Oh my god.
Everwing. Okay, let's see if I can... Okay, you keep talking about Everwing. I'm gonna see if I can find a good description of it. Everwing. Okay, here we go. So here's the wiki page for Everwing.
Oh my god, there's a wiki page.
Of course there is. Alright, so... Okay, this is a terrible... Okay. Everwing is a Facebook Messenger game that was created by Blackstorm Labs in 2016. Great fucking description. Thank you.
So basically in this game, you play as a fairy, and you slide this fairy using your finger across the bottom of your screen to kill monsters that come down in lines. It's like...
A shmup.
It's like Galaga.
It's like Galaga.
Yeah.
And you kill these monsters and you collect gold. And the gold ends up as your score, and you play against your friends in your messenger group. So whoever gets the highest score has bragging rights. And you can use this gold and other things that you can collect to buy more dragons that you can use as companions that help you do more damage to kill more monsters to get higher scores and better levels.
Man,
and it's addictive as fuck. Holy shit.
It's weirdly addictive.
Do I hear a drill or something? Because that sounds like a lot of grinding.
It is a lot of grinding. Oh.
And here I am.
Hey girl, we in the club? Because we about to do a lot of grinding. You threw a thing at me.
Here I am, trying to just go about my day, and I'm getting these notifications that Daphne set a high score in Everwing, and then I'm getting these messages like raid boss down, get your 10%, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking
We
about?
need to get the rare dragon, get your 11% on the raid boss.
And Matt's just like,
And that's when I realized, oh my god, this is one of those fucking things that I just started just to get a score. And it's like...
Just to lash back at us.
And you guys
we just took off.
And we went with it. Because, oh my god.
You created this.
This was less about setting a high score. I mean...
And about sending a message.
It's...
And you got us addicted. You handed us the needle, Matt.
I gave you guys the needle.
You loaded it and tied us off and we just shot it up.
You guys are...
Christian doesn't like needles.
Nope.
Vietnam flashbacks.
Okay, I hate needles, and for those of you listening at home, hates needles, has tattoos. Just gonna throw that out there. I'm a walking oxymoron.
Well, it's because it doesn't go like an inch into your skin.
Stop talking about...
About what, needles?
I will deck you in the face
Ladies
with
and
my
gentlemen,
face.
Digital Leftovers is now sponsored by the Needle Company.
Yo, really though, if we get sponsored by needles, I'll take the money. Fuck it. Okay, so
the candle.
We have, dude. Anyone that makes candles, sponsor me. Daphne and I go through candles like it's nobody's business.
We go through like one candle a week.
We're not that quick.
It's pretty quick.
It's pretty quick.
We have stinky dogs. We go
have
through
stinky dogs.
like one candle a week. We light it literally every day when we get home from work, and it burns for almost 4 to 5 hours every day.
Yeah. So
we go through a candle a week.
Yankee, sponsor us. Give me free stuff. There's something on our list. I mean, on our list we have stuff like League. We have the Starcraft, which I really want to talk about that because you and I, when you brought that up to me and we added it to the template, we had a really interesting conversation about it, and I want to continue on that.
Yeah.
But one thing I really want to talk about, since all three of us are here, 3/5 of our group is here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a game that Matthew, you've never played before, but you now have played. I guess now, fuck it, you know what I mean? You've officially started playing, well, we together, but you have started playing Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so, boom. So, Daphne and I are D&D nerds. Our buddy Eric is a D&D nerd. Steven's played D&D. He's a D&D nerd. Matt hears us talking about it, and so we're like, fuck it, let's play. Let's get Matt playing. And so our buddy Eric is like, I have a homebrew campaign. Let's go. So Matt, Daphne, Steven, and I all make characters, and Eric has his campaign, and we start playing. So Matt, you've played what? We've done 3 sessions, a total of 4, because we've done 3. Daphne missed the first one, but she did her own, and then came in and we met. Anyway, so we've done 3 sessions so far as a collective.
About like 4 hours a piece.
Yeah. So you've played about 12 hours of Dungeons and Dragons. How do you feel so far? Honestly, how are you feeling?
I honestly did not know what to expect because I knew this game was I used to think that it was tabletop based or which it kind of is, but the more I got into it, the more I realized it's a more a vocal game than anything else. Because
it's an actor's paradise. Like
it really is for the actor type. Because not only are you, controlling the person that you are playing as, but you are that character. So,
and I think Eric really makes that a big point of that as the DM, because whenever he laid on thick in the last session. Whenever I was like, oh, I go to Matt and I say, he goes, who? It's like, fuck. I go to Sparwolf and I say, so I like all of us, we're all guilty of it, like calling each other by our real names and not our character names. And Eric is like, who's that? Like, fuck you, Eric. But it also makes a lot of sense. So sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Eric's done a great job at DMing this because for those who don't know, D&D usually is run by a dungeon master who usually sometimes it's an existing campaign, sometimes it's a homebrew campaign, which is what we're doing. This is something that Eric had put like a
hours.
Year or 2?
At least, maybe. Yeah, I think he did talk about it. It was about a year.
He put a lot of hours in it. It took him about a year to completely
get her off that.
Put it together. Go on, Z. Go on.
So the name of the campaign is called The Isle of Drakenthul. Our buddy, like I said, our buddy Eric is DMing. He wrote it. He does all that shit. Daphne, you're playing.
I'm playing a half-elf ranger
named Aaron. I am playing a dragonborn paladin named Rogar. So far, obviously, all the players know that he's a half dragon, a dragonborn. None of the characters knows he's a dragonborn yet, which is great. I'm so excited for the reveal.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the beauty of D&D. That it's like the meta of it is that we know a lot about each of our characters, but every time we go into a session, we're supposed to act like we don't know shit.
Yeah. It's character knowledge versus player knowledge,
and that to me has always felt like the biggest challenge because it's like, oh, I really want to get into that because like a lot of times there will be some private conversation between Eric as the DM and as one of the players that's not me, and yet I'll still hear the conversation, and it's like I'm supposed to roleplay as if I didn't hear that, and it's like that to me has always been the toughest part because it's like how do I change my dialogue to not seem like I'm fucking oblivious,
right?
That to me has always been the toughest part. But that being said,
separating your character knowledge from your player knowledge from your character knowledge is honestly, in my opinion, the hardest part of the game because even I did it. Like I've played D&D for years, and in our last session, like I was asleep. You and Steven, Steven's not here, so we can talk about it. We didn't say your character yet. We'll get to that. We'll get back to that. My bad. We got sidetracked.
There's so much fucking stuff that we could have an entire episode dedicated to our D&D campaign.
Yeah, right? It's like, what did Grug do this time? Our buddy Steven, who hopefully will be on a podcast soon, he's playing a half-orc barbarian named Grug, and it is fantastic. And you are playing...
Sparwolf, he's a human fighter. I wanted to be a ranger, but my backstory, which...
Fighter felt.
Yeah, it felt like fighter, and I don't know, I think I just got like I was trying to go for like a Aragorn style. He used to be a warrior. He used to be a fighter, but now he just
kind of
roams around.
You're also
thank you for changing, because that opened up the gate for me to play my favorite class.
That's what I figured. I was super flexible, and at the same time, like I wanted to have.
Well, and fighter's a very malleable class for
there's always
so far it has been. I mean,
fighter and rangers are like the best two classes for somebody to start in.
I agree.
They're so versatile.
The session when Eric was in town, and we had a run in with the wolves.
Oh my god!
Funny moment. So when Christian helped me build my character, he had given me the impression that the only armor I could have access to was leather armor. Now
it's okay. Stop being a whiny baby.
You can see.
Probably another dog.
Signs. He sees the aliens.
Good. We'll pour water on them. I know how this movie ends.
I went into this campaign with just leather armor, so I was weak as hell. I still had, weapons, and I knew how to fight. But our first actual fight, I had my max hit points were 20. I got bumped down to 6 with just 2 attacks.
And Eric was like, why is your AC so low? We looked at his character sheet. Why do you have leather armor? It turns out that in the starting set, one of the recommended builds is start with leather armor. And Eric was like, no. Retcon, you have this. And he gave you like chainmail or some shit like that.
Scale mail,
yeah. And I was like, that bitch has better armor than me.
So I can only imagine
the real reason you gave him leather armor is so that
so I could be the tank, yeah.
So essentially, that just made me think, I just can imagine, my character, Sparwolf, is just like standing there with leather, he's bleeding out, all of his orifices, and he's sitting there in his leather, and the next thing I know, it just swaps to chainmail.
It's like
and Sparwolf's like, what the fuck?
You have like a Sailor Moon-esque transition where you like spin around, your shit starts glowing, and you're like, ding! And then
you're still bleeding.
You're still bleeding, but at least you're in fancy armor now.
And I was like, can I get it in red dye so no one can see me bleed?
Bring me my red shirt.
Half the reason Rogar's armor is red.
Exactly. Oh my god. But to sum it all up, out of just 3 sessions, we had barely even scraped the tip of the iceberg with this campaign, and it's like, I didn't even think Eric has a story arc for each of our characters.
He has a story arc in mind for each of our characters. Right now we're on Rogar, my character's story arc, right?
And then we're gonna go to Grug.
And then I know Grug has the most threatening story arc out of us all, because so we're gonna do a little backstory. So like Rogar came from a cult that worshipped an evil dragon. They did a human sacrifice, and that's how in Eric's world, didn't explain this part. In Eric's world, there are no deities. The deities are dragons. People worship dragons. So, in my backstory is, I was part of a cult that had a human sacrifice, and the dragon they worship bestowed upon them a dragonborn, and that's how dragonborns came about in Eric's world. Mm-hmm. And my character is trying to eradicate that cult from the face of the earth. Grug, Steven, who's not here, he's a half-orc, and his backstory is his father is the war chief of their clan, and there was another war chief. Imagine like Warcraft, right? Like the games and the movie, how, Black Hand and Gul'dan were like, hey, all the orcs come with us. That type of thing. There was a guy that tried to get all the orcs together to take over the world, essentially. Steven's dad, Grug's dad, said no, and while Steven and 3 of his brothers were out hunting, that war band came and wiped out Steven's tribe, and then he's trying to avenge them. That's why his is so threatening, is there is a war band of orcs somewhere in the world. That's what worries me. I don't think Eric's going to have us just run into them unless some shit goes down.
Oh, yeah.
But that's looming over my head every session. It's like,
he almost let us transition into another dimension.
Yeah.
At level 2.
If we would have gone in there, he would have gone in.
That was a classic Dark Souls moment that, like, we were still just starting out. And here we are in this open field, and there's this crater with a pond at the bottom of it.
With a lot of magic shit going on around
Christian's character was wanting to go in it,
I didn't want to go into the pond. I wanted to
go into the crater.
I wanted to go into the crater, though.
And the crater was full of magic, and let me tell you guys, magic is scarce in this world. So first off, it's already, like, warning flag number 1.
Like, oh, there's a lot of magic here.
Oh, there is a lot of magic here, and magic doesn't happen often. Oh, maybe we shouldn't go into the big magic hole.
Am I the only magic user in our group?
You are the only magic user in this group.
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. That's right. Okay, so
I forsook magic.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, as a because as a ranger you can use magic,
Yeah,
but you
I can cast spells, but I chose not to because I hate messing with spells unless I'm like a very spell heavy class.
Yo, I love spell casters. Oh my god. Anyway,
and that's when I realized Eric totally Dark Souls the hell out of us.
With the crater?
Yeah, with that fucking
Let me tease
crater.
you can go here later, but if you step in now, you will probably TPK.
Yep. Everybody dies.
It was so fucking bad.
And there is no respawning here.
I apologize
No
for this.
collecting your souls.
Do not pass go. Do not pass. Don't pass $200. Don't do that either, kids. Pick up $200.
Return it to who it belongs to. Be
Me.
kind.
Me. Send you $200 to PO Box. No. But you're liking it so far? 3 sessions in?
I would say 3 sessions in, I am totally excited. Now that I know that like it's gonna be kind of like a Telltale game, or kind of like Life is Strange, that there's 5 episodes, that we have 5 episodes with each of our characters.
Yeah. And here's the thing about it, and something that you touched on briefly I want to kind of get back to. You compared it to a game like Life is Strange and Telltale, and you compared it to another game earlier that made me think of this. That's like, you're playing as yourself, your character, but you affect the world with everything you do, right? It's like, we could be going on, a trail and we're running around, and Matt, just because he wants to, could be like, fuck it, I'm going to go over here. We don't have to follow him.
No.
We can just keep going on the trail, and then Matt can go on his own little adventure the whole time. Or he can stick with us, or whatever. That's the beauty of this game. It's literally...
We can literally do whatever we want.
The boundaries of this game are our own imaginations.
Yeah.
Like, truly. Whatever...
Now the DM can stop us.
Of course.
But it has to be in some fun, creative way.
Exactly. And that's literally... That's good. It didn't sound like a siren at first. I really hope the fucking mic picked it up, because it sounded like a whistle.
I love how we're all talking. Siren, dead silence.
We're all like,
they're coming for me!
Yeah, exactly.
This is where our neighbors
See,
call the
you
cops.
peed on the floor too many times. You better watch
The
it.
peacocks are coming for you.
The police.
It
wasn't me.
God damn it. Okay, so
They caught me peeing on the sofa.
so are we good on
It wasn't
D&D?
me.
Is there anything else you want to touch on D&D, either of you, before we keep going?
I'm hoping that at one point that we can have a whole episode dedicated to D&D, because, like I said, it's stunning to me how much stuff that he actually has planned out for us. And the fact that he told me that, Matt, your backstory, because it was like, I was thinking, geez, I probably have to give him a lot of detail. When you guys probably enter like a paragraph or two about your stuff. I wrote a whole fucking essay for this shit, and he's like, Matt, with this much stuff, that it's like,
Go on.
I'm gonna go into a lot of stuff with your with your character. So I'm like,
Can I tell you a secret? I know when your story arc begins. Eric told me already. Like, I know at what, like, where, like, I don't know when exactly, obviously, but like, I know
what's gonna trigger it.
I know what starts your quest, essentially, and I am so looking forward to it, because I know your backstory, right?
yeah.
So you talk. No, it's your backstory. Fuck it.
For everyone's information, you get to write your backstory, how your character came to be at the start of this campaign.
Now, in the book, sorry to cut you off, but in the book there is templates in the back that's like, build off of this. Now, what I like to do is I like to look at those, build a backstory, and then like
go into massive amounts of detail.
Right, and then make my
really
backstory
customize it.
Yeah, customize, but make my backstory conform to some of those things, right? Like, as an example, one of the things you can take as the whatever background I took from the book is charity, which means you always help people in need no matter what, right? Because my guy's a paladin who wants to do good all the time. So I did that, but I customized why he's that. The game doesn't tell you with those templates why your guy is charitable, or why he's good, or why he's bad, or why he's neutral. You get to choose that, but it kind of holds your hand a little bit and guides you. It's like, listen, here's some options. Now you tell us why. I was going somewhere with this, but I kind of forgot. Go ahead, keep your backstory. Your
But
backstory.
anyway, so yeah, at that point, you get to make your own. I just went full-fledged, raw, all from my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going for like a combination of like John Wick and Joel from The Last of Us, the kind of story where they already have not a lot to lose, but the one thing that matters to them. John Wick with his dog, Joel with his daughter. Spoiler, but it's
Hey,
obvious.
spoiler! His daughter dies in the first 10 minutes. Heads up.
It's very powerful shit, and I wanted to take it to the next level. Now, Eric ramped it up to the next level because he changed how my daughter died. But essentially it was, I was a soldier in the army, I was given an impossible task, and I succeeded, but I was the only one to survive of my little squad that was sent on this mission, and I was the only one to make it back. And I'm like, why me? Why do I deserve to live?
Yeah, survivor's remorse.
Exactly. And I had a wife who was able to, ground me in my survivor's remorse. And we got married, we had a kid, and then we...
Wait, you married your wife? What? Sorry. Go ahead.
I know where you live.
You're in my house. What do you fucking expect?
Touche.
So go ahead. Yeah.
So,
wife had a kid.
But yeah, we go out into the country, we start a farm, and I have this little baby daughter of mine, and I always like to hold her like Daphne's currently holding her dog, Tuca. I stroke her and pet her, and I go, good girl.
What was your daughter's name?
Peter Tree.
Saria.
See, I don't think that's been mentioned in the... I don't think Sparwolf has told the group... I think you told the NPC we met the name of your daughter. Did you? I don't remember.
No,
I know you like connected with him on that level, but
yeah, no. Everyone just knows that I had a daughter who was killed, but no one knows the reason why. But
we all know, but our characters don't.
Yeah. The meta is that you guys know that I had a farm.
I actually don't know that you had a wife or a daughter yet.
Yeah.
Because my character hasn't talked to yours yet.
Which I want to.
I'm going to get to. I'm going to go through everybody in the group. That's how I'm going to bond with everybody. Is I'm going to find a time where we're resting and just sit down and be like, so, how'd you meet these yahoos?
It sounds so reassuring and comforting, like I'm going to have a moment, but Daphne makes it so threatening, like I'm going to get you.
By the way, we're going to talk.
And we're going to sit down, we're going to have a goddamn conversation.
We're going to be friends.
We are going to be friends.
Okay. That's a running joke in the campaign already, Stop! So, Grug, being a half-orc, sorry to cut you off on your backstory again. First time we meet Grug, Matt and I are in the bar, not in the tavern that we start at, because Eric wanted, since it was Matt's first campaign, he wanted the stereotypical, you begin in a tavern start. You were in the tavern with me, right? Like, we weren't together, but we were both in the tavern.
I believe you started in the tavern, and I came.
Yeah. So
I was like out in the woods, kind of living on my own.
And you just came in.
Fuck it, I'll go in for a drink.
So the tavern scene happens, and we're like chilling, and Steven barges in as a half-orc barbarian.
Best moment.
And what we found out very quickly is this town is mostly humans that are racist towards non-humans.
Racist.
And he barges in, runs to the door, Grug thirst. And then
Best
8 people pulled weapons, and I was like, no, hold on, fuck you.
The Rogar, the ultimate peacekeeper.
Oh my god, that's what he is. It's great.
And can't you see why I ship him and Sparwolf?
Grug?
Grug and Sparwolf.
Grug and Sparwolf? The fanfic? I haven't finished it yet, but I need to. So there's been a running joke that Grug and Sparwolf, or everyone ships them. And so Daphne, while there was some downtime,
drew a very innocent picture.
Doodled a very innocent photo of Grug and Sparwolf holding each other's hands. It was very cute. So Matt was like, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm going to take this 30 steps farther.
And he wrote what I can only imagine turns into an erotic fanfic.
A very erotic fanfic.
Okay, for the record.
With lots of weird penis.
For the record, the backstory behind that is that on Game Grumps, Danny and Ninja Brian of Ninja Sex Party, at one point as a prank, Brian wrote a fan fiction called The Beach. And it's about Brian giving Danny a blowjob.
Yes.
What you're reading is The Beach, but with Danny and Brian retconned or replaced with Grug and Sparwolf.
Okay, that's hilarious. Now, I need you to spoil something for me real quick. At any point when somebody comes, does Grug say, Grug thirst?
plot twist, no one comes.
Fuck! That is so annoying. I'm so annoyed by that.
It has an interesting conclusion. There's
Greg will thirst forever.
Damn it.
Yes, but here's the thing. You'll have to read it just because it gets interesting. Now that being said, I have some innocence into it, but yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, he says.
So, but yeah.
Go ahead with your backstory.
I
keep
had a little
cutting you
fun
off.
making that backstory. That what I decided to go with was like a combo of like John Wick and Last of Us. That Sparwolf has this wife and his daughter. His wife comes down with an incurable disease and she passes on, and I'm left with this like 10-month-old baby. It's like 10 months after she's born.
Whoa, hold on. You mean to tell me your daughter died at 10 months?
No, his wife died when his daughter was at 10 months.
Yeah. So like her.
Oh my
so
God.
Saria's 10 months old.
I thought because we know your daughter dies, right? But like when you said she was 10 months, I was like, wait, did they kill a 10-month-old? Those fucks. Sorry, go ahead.
It's
And
it's
that's
just
actually when you were born.
yes.
My bad.
But yeah, it was like wife dies 10 months after Saria is born, and then I'm left to raise her on my own. 10 years later, I've got this farm, it's thriving, it's successful, but then this blight comes that destroys my crops, so I need money to be able to pick it back up. So I take a loan out from the ever-trusting name-sounding Devil Lance.
We won't... Devil Lance, we won't stab you.
Exactly. So I take money out from these guys. No. I took the loan out before the blight came.
Mm-hmm. Then the blight came.
The blight comes, destroys my crop, so I'm unable to make the money back to pay the loan. Mm-hmm. And so the leader of the Devil Lance, Greege, I decided to give him his name.
It's a great name, by the way. That's a great antagonist name, especially for D&D. Great antagonist name.
He likes money, so I figured greedy.
You do understand that if we as a group, as a collective, ever interact with Greege, I'm going to eat him, right? Like Rogar is going to feast on his flesh, right?
I'm hoping, Eric, that's what I was thinking, like, after our last session, was that could we, like, each create a way that we, like, destroy our assailant?
Do you understand how many teeth my character has? He's going to eat your bad guy.
I certainly hope so.
Here's the thing, though, is, like, I'm at the point with Rogar being, like, the shield of the group, right? The protector, that, like, I'm legitimately, like, as Christian and as Rogar, am afraid that the second you see Greege or anybody from the Devil Lance, that Sparrow is just going to be like, nope, and just going to, like, beeline. And I have this image of Rogar being like, no, not yet.
Hold me back, Rogar, hold me back.
Like, yes, we will kill them. We will kill them all. Vengeance for your family. Wait.
I'll headshot every single one of them except for Greege. I'll say
Daphne's Ranger will like pin Greege to the wall by every limb, and you just like kill. Wow, like, I got really dark. I kill him as the light, like watch him as the life leaves his eyes.
Because for you guys who don't understand, the reason why we're wanting to be so brutal against this antagonist is that this guy comes with like 5 or 6 of his men. He wants his money back. I'm unable to pay him.
Now, how old is Sparwolf at the time of this event?
Very young. Like,
he's still young at this point.
It's like this is like 20 years before.
Because Sparwolf in the Drakenthul campaign is like
45.
Like mid-40s. Okay, cool.
He's pretty fucking old. So it was like he was like 25 when he had Saria.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, he was like 8. He was 18 in the army. He married Saria at like 20.
He married Saria.
He had Saria at like 20, or no.
Saria's mom.
Yes, my wife. I met my wife at like 20. Married at like 2021. Had Saria at 22.
10 years later.
And then it was like 30 or so that Saria's like like 10 years old. And yeah, fucking Greege comes because I'm unable to pay the money back. Puts Saria on her knees in front of me. And his men hold me back and force me to watch as Greege. At first, I wrote it as Greege cuts her throat and lets her bleed out in front of me. Mm-hmm. But Eric, this is something you guys don't know yet, is that instead, Greege takes Saria by the head and shoves her head into a horse, whatever they drink out of.
trough.
A trough.
Drowns her.
Shoves her head into a trough as she struggles, and he's looking at me the whole time. We are locked eyes as he's holding Saria struggling in the trough. And he's smiling.
That day,
he's smiling.
You hated horses ever since.
That's why I wanted to sacrifice
That's why
3.
you let them run away. Yeah. That's why you wanted my horse to die.
I am literally going to eat him because the spec I took with Paladin is Vengeance Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously with my backstory that makes sense. But now that we're a party, it's like all of your vengeances are now my vengeances. So it's like, all right, who's getting fucked up today? Oh, he killed your daughter. On it.
I'm so excited to breathe fire for the first time in front of you guys. It's gonna be so great.
The D&D campaign, it's still kind of in its roots. We're just starting out on the first story arc, but I can safely say that holy shit, we're really going places with it. We put a lot of time into D&D. Holy shit.
Our first two sessions were very action packed, very a lot happening. Our last campaign, not a lot happened, but it was still so much fun. It was
a good prologue.
It was a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. Eric not spoiled something for me, but there is an event that we have done as a full group that we have all overlooked the significance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, fuck. And only one of us knew about the significance beforehand, and we all overlooked it. It was Daphne. Daphne understood the significance. Why were you sent out from? Why did Llewellyn send you out on the adventure from the tavern?
To go hunt down the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who did he mention? One person that went out about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, he'd never give me a name.
Never mind then. I thought he gave you a name. Oh, I know who it is. Retroact, like character, player.
He told me, hey, somebody went out a week and a half ago ish, and they haven't come back.
I didn't realize he didn't tell you who it was.
Go find them.
Yeah, he told me who it was.
Or if you can find them or track them down and find out what became of them, let me know.
Remember that camp we came across? It seemed like one person was there.
Oh yeah,
it was that guy.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't there.
I like the mystery of it, so let's. I would say let's TBD on that, just because I really like the mystery of it and all the reveals and everything. So shit, that stuff's gonna get good.
God, my Fitbit died. So I know when it died, we were about at an hour, and I think I started timing maybe 5-10 minutes in.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting close, but we got time.
Oh yeah, fucking. So do we want to cover one more gaming section, or do we want to?
Yeah, let's cover one more thing because the remastered Starcraft.
Yeah.
When you wrote the note for the remastered Starcraft, you wrote remastered Starcraft, bring back the genre ? And I thought that was really interesting because it wasn't obviously Warcraft wasn't like the first RTS. Obviously, Blizzard didn't make the first RTS, but they are the people that took the RTS genre and was like, "Hello world,
oh yeah,
enjoy it."
They StarCraft was a huge title back in the day.
When Blizzard announced World of Warcraft was coming out, people were upset at WoW because it wasn't the reveal for StarCraft 2. Yeah, that's how huge StarCraft was when it.
Yeah, because for everybody's information, StarCraft 1 came out 94, 95.
Something like that.
StarCraft and Diablo, well, I guess Warcraft 2, they were the 3 biggest IPs that Blizzard had released at that point.
What was your date prediction?
94.
March 31st, 1998.
98. Mm-hmm. Yeah. StarCraft came out in 98. I believe that was a few years after Warcraft 1 and 2 came out, and Diablo was already out at that point too. So all 3 IPs had already taken off. StarCraft was the most recent one, and that was the one that a lot of people seemed to really get behind. It's a very popular title.
I want to let you know, I looked up Warcraft release date, and I saw 2016. I'm like, that's not right. The movie. 1994 is when when Warcraft Orcs and Humans came out.
Yeah. Holy shit, I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was not 3 years old.
Yeah, you were 3.
Almost 3 months old.
Yeah, I was 1.
I was 1 as well. That was great. So yeah, now they're all huge titles, and StarCraft became the most popular because RTSs were kind of already a thing. Command & Conquer was already, really enhancing the title, and RTSs, started kicking off with other titles. And then StarCraft was Blizzard, and they made RTSs their bitch with StarCraft.
Oh, they just...
It was so simple, and yet it had the biggest drive behind it as a real-time strategy. and that's what made it one of the biggest, most competitive games to date.
You know that Blizzard accidentally spawned Dota, right? And the MOBA genre with Warcraft.
Oh yeah, because they already had Warcraft as their initial...
What it was is someone essentially modded Warcraft and then made 3 lanes and made minions run down the lanes and put structures down as towers and shit.
Oh yeah.
And that's how the MOBA was born. Sorry, tangent. All right.
Because Warcraft 3 had come out, and that was already a critically acclaimed title.
Oh my god.
It was one of the best RTSs out there.
You can get Warcraft 3 from Blizzard on the website for $10.
See that?
Seriously, holy fuck.
It was so much fun. I didn't play it much, and it was maybe 07, 08 that I was on the Warcraft 3 kick, but that was just between friends. We'd have LAN parties and we'd play together. But at that point, that's when the Defense of the Ancients mod came out, because they liked the idea of of specific units being heroes amongst all the minions and the grunts and everything. So they took that what if it was just that one champion and then 4 others against 5 other champions? And then that's when they designed, the 3 lane concept. And now we have
the MOBA.
Dota 2, League of Legends, fucking Heroes of Newerth. You remember Han? Heroes of Newerth?
No.
That was, oh my god, a lot of people were pissed at Han because it was probably one of the latest ones because it came out after League of Legends and before Dota 2, but it was still a big one. Oh yeah, Heroes of Newerth, look it up sometime.
Wow, that waveform from that yawn, I'm so sorry. Holy shit.
StarCraft kind of died out until 2008, 2009, when they announced StarCraft 2 was coming out, but they did not have a release date. And then 2010 rolls around, we get a big surprise. Hey guys, StarCraft 2 coming out September of 2010. Huge reveal, huge release.
Ended up coming out in July.
July, that's right.
Yeah.
I got it in November or so it was already taken off. Huge competitive scene. My cousin got it for me for free, and I was big on it for a while. And just RTSs, it's just such a unique genre.
Now, what do you think? Because you wrote in here, bring back the genre? ? What do you think killed the RTS genre?
I think it's just the fact that StarCraft 2 became so overdone. Because I know StarCraft 2 competitions are still kind of a thing, but it seemed like it wasn't as relevant because League of Legends is dominating the competitive market.
I think what it was the rise of the MOBA, right?
Oh yeah.
And
it became less about controlling, and micromanaging a whole army.
It then became a team game, and I think that's what really did it. Another thing I think that did it, it wasn't anything that StarCraft did wrong or League did right. It's what the competitive League scene did. It's they run, the LCS as an example, run their viewership like a legitimate physical sports venue, right? They have an arena where they play. They have dedicated announcers. They have stats. They have analysts. They have times that they treat it as a legitimate sport, because esports are sports, in my opinion at least. But a lot of people don't think that way. So I think, when StarCraft, and that was conquering esports, they didn't really treat it that way. It was just hey, it's esports, here you go. Whereas League took it and was let's, make it seem legit to anyone from the outside looking in. I feel like if you were to watch a StarCraft 2 tournament now, right? If you knew nothing about StarCraft and you came in and watched it, you wouldn't really be able to understand.
It would take a lot more to process than something like League, where you see just 10 players playing 10 characters. While StarCraft, there's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of, base management and building, and it's oh my god, I remember when I was a huge StarCraft 2 player, I was a Protoss person, and I was looking up shit 8 or 3 gate, 4 gate build, and it's
wow.
And oh my god, you look at the process and the steps behind
Terran.
A StarCraft 2 build, that it's oh yeah, there's a lot more to it than League of Legends, which is more about the one character that you upgrade.
However, the thing that I think is the biggest difference is that announcers for StarCraft 2 tournaments don't spend the time to explain and analyze why so-and-so is doing this build instead of this build, or why this. Whereas, if you've never played League of Legends and you sat down and watched LCS with someone that's watching it, you could at least have a group base understanding.
The screen is a lot less busier with League as well. Not to mention, I think this is something that we're kind of overlooking, League of Legends is free. StarCraft 2 was $60 when it came out.
Uh-huh.
So
League of Legends is free. He puts in air quotes, looks at skins.
With microtransactions.
It was a free game, so they had to make money somehow.
So
that was
girl
like
that has spent probably about $500.
Dude, I don't want to know how much money I've spent on League.
Because it was like, I would say by like 2012 is when StarCraft, we know, was still a thing, but it became less relevant because League had come out in 2009. Didn't really take off at first, but it was like gaming at that point was a lot more casual, and a lot of people saw League of Legends as a casual game because Minecraft also came out around that time. And so Let's Plays and gaming YouTube videos, a lot of it revolved around either League of Legends, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and Minecraft. Like, those were 4 big titles because Global Offensive came out in 2012 also. So it was like this combination of 4 major IPs, and, you know, at that point, StarCraft was getting a little less of the spotlight. So, moving on to my theory that the reason why they're hyping remastered StarCraft is that maybe Blizzard also recognizes that RTSs are a dying genre, and they're thinking that bringing back the original StarCraft as a remastered title could boost a player count, and the remastered version could start a new competitive scene.
It's just an injection of adrenaline back into
exactly. Because it not only that, but look at the market that they're targeting. People like you and I, you know, we're 23, we're ages between like 20 to 26 maybe.
We grew up on this game or games like it.
We grew up on the first StarCraft is a huge nostalgic title, at least for me it was. And it's like, I'm the kind of person that they're appealing to of like, hey, remember this great game that you played as a kid?
You sunk hours and hours and hours into.
Here it is, but on better graphics. So it looks like how you thought it looked like back in the day when you look at it nostalgically.
And then they're also appealing to all the people like me who, you know, have always been interested in going back and playing those old school games, but just really wish that they remastered them. Because you can't stand to look at those graphics because, goddamn, they're awful after looking at a game like League of Legends.
And that's why they released the
Overwatch or shit like that.
The original came out for free about a couple weeks ago. And that, to me, I think, is them giving us a taste of here's what it was like now.
Prep your anus for the new shit.
You know, because I'm thinking, you know, are they just redesigning the graphics? Are the cutscenes going to get... oh my god, StarCraft cutscenes, some of the best shit I've ever watched.
Blizzard cutscenes.
I know, they really...
anything that Blizzard could do is they could go and make CGI movies.
Yeah.
If the gaming industry just up and died.
They totally could make like a Netflix original series about Overwatch characters.
When they announced the Warcraft movie, I honestly thought it was going to be in the animation style of their cinematics. Like, I remember, like, I mean, obviously all the cinematics for WoW are fantastic. All the Blizzard cinematics.
Even the really old ones
are still
hold up now.
Diablo 2, they still, like, you can tell they're older, obviously, but it's like, wow, that's still really fucking good.
And then you look at, like, Overwatch cinematics.
And you're just like, cum everywhere.
Diablo 3 or StarCraft. And you're just like, holy fuck, they were way ahead of their time in CGI.
I remember
and graphics.
the first, like, every single WoW cinematic that came out. I remember the first time watching them, and every time I was like, I almost cried because I was so excited of how good it looked. Like,
I didn't even play the game, and I'd watch it. I was like, holy shit! I would get goosebumps.
Watching the first cinematic for Wrath of the Lich King, when Arthas pulls out Frostmourne, and it's like you can see the details in the metal and the carvings of the runes, and like the frost like coming off of it. You're like, oh my god!
Did you not get chills thinking back to the Frozen Throne cutscenes?
Oh my
god!
He
initially goes up to the throne, takes out his sword, and just smashes
and like grabs his father and is like succeeding you, and like stabs him. Yeah. No, it was like, oh my god, that's Arthas. Oh. Like the second he like popped up and like you just saw his foot, I was like, oh my god, that's Arthas. Oh my god, that's Arthas. Guys, and like I watched it with Matt, not you, Matt, but Piggy Matt, the other Matt, Matthew. And like we were watching it together and we just grabbed each other like, Arthas!
So that being said, like,
I want to play WoW now. Fuck.
I'm wondering, like, what exactly is their game with this whole remastered version? And I'm thinking, like, are they just trying to make money out of it, or are they trying to bring back RTSs? Like, I believe they're trying to bring back the RTS because it is a dying genre.
It's pretty much dead. It's not dead, but it's dying. You're right. But I think the thing is, it's a StarCraft 1 Remastered is a really good place to start because, like you said, it's nostalgia for our age group. And right now, our age group is starting to work, which means we have money, kind of. Mm-hmm. That's another subject all on its own.
So we're coming out of college, we're getting careers and degrees, and
we potentially
big boy and big girl jobs.
We potentially have expendable income that we can spend on nostalgia.
We don't have to beg mommy and daddy for allowance to buy a $60 game.
Right.
We can just go out and buy it without having
ourselves
to worry about not having enough money for food or bills or this.
So if they want to bring back the RTS genre as a whole, I feel like remastering the nostalgia game is a good place because they'll see how much interest there is still in the genre, even from a nostalgia standpoint. Because let's say they give us that taste of remastered StarCraft, then suddenly, oh fuck, let's play StarCraft 2 because we finished story of StarCraft 1. Let's go back to StarCraft 2. Also, never bought any of the expansions of StarCraft 2, so I'd never actually finished the story.
Me neither.
Yeah, I really want to, but that's
that's the thing. I think that's also why StarCraft 2 died so quickly is because
so long
it brings exactly. They really stretched it out with the expansions taking so long to come out. But the story for the original StarCraft 2 was also not good. Like I stopped halfway through because
let's be honest, they only made they made StarCraft 2, they made the story to like teach you the game, but they really did it to try to what they're doing now and get the esports scene going because StarCraft 1 was huge in esports.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey guys, remember that first game we made? This one's also pretty cool too. Let's go again.
And it was super fun, but I believe that it was because the IP just didn't have any new, fresh story content that contributed to it. Because if you think about it, you know, League of Legends is able to take off because it doesn't really focus on the story. There's lore that you're more than welcome to research.
Into it. And they're currently revamping all of the lore.
Yeah, because the lore.
Do you fuck with the lore?
Do you fuck with the? Because in the beginning, the reason I played League over Dota was there was lore, and that excited me, and then Riot stopped giving a shit about lore for a long time, and that's why they're revamping it now. Is because they're like
retconning all of the lore.
They're doing
redoing
a lot of retconning, and
because I remember some characters would come out and their lore was like a sentence and a half long.
It was,
and I was like, "Where is the story? I came here to read lore. Where is my lore?"
There's a lore tab for a reason. Give us lore.
Yeah, and now they have a whole section of their website just based to lore or based for lore for like different countries in the League of Legends world and different champions that are in that country and how they tie in with other lores of other characters and this whole thing. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, but based on what you guys are saying, that StarCraft 2 tried to expand the lore because the lore of StarCraft is pretty in-depth. I mean, the biggest moment that I think that they really are trying to bounce off of is the relationship between Jim Raynor and Sarah Kerrigan. And that moment where they're on a mission, everything is FUBAR, and Raynor's able to pull out, but they leave Kerrigan behind for the Zerg to devour, but she becomes the Queen of Blades, and it's like, that is so rad.
And it's like
she was such a sweet, innocent character.
They were so like they were intertwined for one reason.
Yeah.
Now they're intertwined because they're enemies by necessity.
Exactly. And I thought that they were going to take that specific places. I was hoping for specific things to happen in StarCraft 2, but it's just like Kerrigan just becomes another big bad. And there really isn't any... I mean, there is kind of a thing with Raynor's relationship that happens, but it still just kind of goes south. So I'm thinking
did you ever finish the campaign?
No. I stopped like halfway through. It's like, I just can't.
I was going to say something about like the ending and how there was a specific part of the ending that felt kind of forced.
Yeah. I kind of figured that's how it was going to. I was like, I don't want to go through this. I want to... That's why StarCraft 1 for me always has a special place in my heart, because not only is there Raynor and Kerrigan, which I think is the biggest moment, there's also the Protoss with Tassadar sacrificing himself, and, a lot of things, and the cutscenes for those are so great, and just one thing after another. And I'm psyched for this remastered. I'm probably gonna get it.
Okay. So on that note, real quick poll. So you said you'll get it.
Daphne, do you think you'll get StarCraft 1 Remastered?
You know, I'll look it up when it comes out, and if it looks good, then I'll definitely try my first.
Because RTSs,
I'll play it. I'll absolutely get it.
Because RTSs, I think, you know, they do have a special place in my heart. Granted, as of now, it's not because MOBAs are huge.
Oh my god, I love MOBAs.
But
well, I love
RTSs
League.
still have a special place, and it's like I never really got a chance to, you know, practice with that, because League, it's so easy to practice. Overwatch is easy to practice because you're doing one character. RTSs are a whole different thing. You have to manage a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of thought process. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot more tougher. Oh my god, is it so worth it when you see your
and you
army
pull it
clash
off
with the others clashing? And it was like my cousins and I, when we do 2v2 or 3v3, 4v4, that we work together, and it was like, these are armies. Like, it's so fucking epic. You know, you start out with just one base. You have 3 gatherers. Boom, get those gatherers to go supplies. Start building, you know, droids. You know, S, or...
Get more gatherers.
Yeah.
Build your shit.
There's a lot of key pressing.
You must construct additional pylons, bro.
Exactly. You know, think League of Legends, you know, there's a lot of right-clicking.
There's a lot of S.
There's a lot of every key, because, like, there's a hotkey for each unit to, you know, order them. Or, you know, you got to keep spending that money as you make it, because... You know, you can't run out of units, and just, oh my god, RTS just... I'm thinking that when it comes out that we could... That there is a chance to, you know, have that, but... So we'll see.
One thing I want to talk about before we get is, we briefly talked about it before recording, is the future of the Digital Leftovers brand. He kind of puts in air quotes, because we're just kind of two dudes with a microphone.
2 bros, 1 mic.
2 bros, 1 mic. Is we as a unit, like, we're going to keep doing podcasts and focusing on podcast. And we talked about it before the podcast, and some people have talked to me about it outside of this, is like, will we do other content other than podcasting? And I think, yeah, we will eventually. I think right now our primary focus with this channel is the podcast, is the sitting around and bullshitting on a microphone for a couple hours.
Because granted, yeah, it does seem kind of simple, but it's like, if we're able to carry ourselves as people, you know, we each have... Is it raining?
Is it raining? I don't
It's
know.
just the fridge.
Oh. My fridge is angry.
It's
right
like
now.
rain? I love rain.
No, my fridge is just like...
It just kind of barfs its
Cold.
antifreeze out. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. But yeah, it's like we're able to carry ourselves, you know, and hopefully deliver content that, you know, because a lot of people do this kind of shit out there, but it's like, can we put enough of a unique spin on it? And we're hoping that, you know, our unique formula of the games that we play, the shit that we watch, what we, you know,
what we read, what we see,
what we're watching, what we're reading, what we're playing, you know, and we put our inputs on it, that we're hoping that, you know, that can give us develop a relationship with our audience, because we're talking about some very, you know,
because like
relevant stuff.
We bullshit and make dick jokes, but then I realize that every once in a while it's like dick joke, fart, intellectual conversation about revamping the RTS genre. Like, what?
That's honestly like how we do it, and it's like that's not, you know, clickbaity. That's not like Game of Thrones with all the gratuitous sex scenes, and it's like we're you know, are we gonna have a sex scene?
We are not gonna have a sex scene. We are gonna have a sex scene. Matt, wink, wink. We're not gonna have a sex scene. Wink.
Audience, take that phrase and revamp the tone and try to analyze it for its true meaning.
But no, but I do think that we could take the Digital Leftovers and like do, you know, gameplay or do other types of entertainment content like this. Our buddy Eric, when he moves to his new place, he's gonna start streaming again, and that could also be a thing. You know, having like an umbrella, like our group. Like you use the example of Boots.
Normal Boots. JonTron, Peanut Butter Gamer. Pro Jared.
Or like, oh, I love Pro Jared. Or like he's speaking back to D&D real quick. He is in the D&D campaign that they did all of the Curse of Strahd, and now they're on the new campaign of Storm King's Thunder.
Really?
It's like it's Pro Jared, it's Nate Wants to Battle, it's Commander Holly, and it's Anna Pro. She does a lot of stuff with Blizzard, and she's like one of like the announcer people for Blizzard.
Yeah.
All of them are in a campaign with Chris Perkins, who is like the lead designer on Wizards of the Coast right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to that though. I think we could have like an umbrella type thing. It's like digital leftovers. This. Our streaming people. This. Like that. That's like a huge plan. Like this is our project. This is you and me, right?
Yeah.
This is us and our friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if our friends want to get involved, which I would love that to be a thing, then we could have a lot of content going.
Oh, yeah.
However, right now, our main focus is the podcast. This is what we want to focus on.
Yeah,
for now.
We're hoping, we were already thinking like 100 episodes special, but it's like 10 episodes for us is choice.
We have a 10 episode special clever thing in mind right now. Like if we can get to episode 10, awesome. We're gonna do something special. It's gonna be great. It's not gonna be that special, but for us, it's gonna be special.
Oh yeah.
That's where the sex scene happens. But no, that's what's gonna happen. And so right now, for those of people that are asking, what's the future of the channel? That's the plan. The plan right now is focus on the podcast, and eventually, after garnering enough of a following, then we'll see if we can stick our hands in other types of content.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Good podcast.
Things are coming together,
and we're back. We're back on the podcast. We're back recording.
Are back on a thing, so hopefully you can expect us next week, and we will keep going.
Yeah,
we'll keep pressing on.
Thanks, Daphne, for being our special guest this evening.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
It was such an honor.
And we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.
So, Christian, about that sex scene.